So often in the workplace, you will hear a lot about glass ceilings and how that sort of prevents women and underrepresented groups from effectively getting any higher than middle management. And I think I was also a victim of that in a way as well, because it's something that you sort of know. It's something that you sort of have an inkling in your own head that when it comes down to any particular role or job, there's sort of like a level where you feel that it's not possible. They're not going to allow you to get to that height for all sorts of various reasons. And I find it quite interesting how a lot of us, like for me, like when I first entered the workforce as a PR trainee, like Lord knows I was so excited to just be in the industry first and foremost, and to just be immersed in the idea of growing in a company, and just having the opportunity to call myself like all these big titles like vice president or managing director or any of those sort of titles that are sort of effectively you being well established in your career. I was aspiring for that heavy, man. I wanted that so bad. But as the years progressed, I realized that it just didn't seem appealing anymore. It didn't seem appealing. But before it even reached the point where it felt like it wasn't appealing, it just didn't feel like it was even something that I was able to reach. And it got to that point where I just felt that it doesn't matter how hard I would have tried, it wouldn't have mattered. I could have done the most, but it just wouldn't have resulted in that. So let me just share my screen real quick and then we can just get more into this, right? And hopefully the volume is all good.
What is the glass ceiling? The glass ceiling is an invisible barrier that prevents women and other underrepresented groups from reaching leadership positions in the workplace. The barriers to success are usually unwritten, meaning that glass ceilings don't usually exist because of corporate policy. Instead, glass ceilings exist due to phenomena like accepted norms and systemic and implicit bias, which is when people make assumptions about others based on stereotypes.
And that's the thing when it comes down to that glass ceiling thing. It all comes down to stereotypes. And when you look at the sort of percentages of different sort of industries, and you look at the percentages of the amount of Black people in the workplace, for example, and the percentages are always low. Like, and obviously when you compare it to the actual sort of overview of society in that sense, yes, it makes sense why it would not obviously match that of our white counterparts, for example. But for it to be considerably low at that, it just makes it very difficult, firstly, to be immersed in there and not to think like you're not the only one. And I imagine that there's been some roles where I've been the only Black person in the workplace, and that's something that is something that happens quite often, right? And it's quite interesting. But when it comes down to that glass ceiling element, for me, I felt the shift when I realized that as far as middle management goes, I don't think that I'll be able to position myself any higher because of the stereotypes of that sort of stuff, and then also sort of the politics and the policies with that as well. And when it comes down to those particular opportunities where you're rising up the ranks and stuff, it can be vicious. It can be vicious. Everyone is looking for that spot, especially when it's one of those sort of industries or the roles where the hierarchy is really much, if one person is there, then no one can move up. You know what I mean? Within, I suppose, more in-house PR agencies, for example, if that particular manager is not leaving, they are staying there for 30, 40 years, you are not getting a position to rise up above them anyhow, anyway. It's not happening, right? And with that, it's also that you need to understand how you're navigating through these things. And, you know, what's that noise? Hey, there's loads of sirens. Wow, it's loud. Wow, what's going on? Wow. Anyway, let me get back into it. So as far as glass ceilings are concerned, I find it quite interesting with that. And I think it's in your best interest to also understand, to just know yourself more than anyone else, to realize that more often than not, you need to be forthcoming with and realistic. Are you in a position where you're going to get this opportunity for this promotion, for this pay rise, or for you to step up? And if not, then it's in your best interest to leave, right? And it's a risky one, because when I left my role and I was in a position where I wanted to go and find something new, I then realized that, you know what? I just felt that I was in a position where it didn't matter what I would have done, I would never have been able to get to that next stage. But in hindsight now, and as now I'm working as a personal branding strategist, and I'm working for myself, I'm working on, building my business and scaling, I realized that a lot of the time now, your personal brand is literally one of the best, if not the best, the only solution in terms of you being able to avoid that glass ceiling. Because ultimately, remember from that video what they said, it comes down to stereotypes and the way that people perceive you as to why they're going to block you from having the opportunity to excel in the workplace. But with the development of a personal brand, you have already built yourself up effectively bigger than the company. You built your profile in a way that you are now perceived as a key person of influence and the obvious choice, right? So through those means, it only makes sense as to why you should be building your personal brand, even if you have a job, even if you're looking for a new job, and even if you're not even looking to become an influencer or any of those things as well. Because we need to understand the element of building a personal brand is not to become an influencer. And if you're thinking that you need to get that out of your head ASAP, it's about you becoming a key person of influence. And for you becoming a key person of influence, it almost guarantees that there will be no opportunities that will go past you, because you have already proved yourself with not only the visibility, but the credibility to match that you are the best person for any particular job, for any particular pay rise, for any particular promotion. Because nowadays, I've been speaking with a lot of my friends and peers who work in the industry, for example, and it's evolved a lot. Nowadays, you're just doing one particular job. Now they're expecting you to be generating leads for the companies as well. So not only are you, for example, a PR manager and you're in charge of doing the sort of PR work on a day-to-day basis, you are also now a sales rep. And if you are in a position where you went in the industry not looking about the sales element, and now all of a sudden, in terms of your KPIs, it's no longer just a thing about what you've been able to achieve for your client based on coverage. It also becomes a thing of how many leads have you generated, how many people have you spoken to, how many events have you been to network with people, to drive opportunity for the actual company. And when you realize you're doing all of that for the money that you're getting, it's a joke. It's a joke. And then you're in reality, you should be using your personal brand to build up the leverage and job security for you to then build and do that and build your profile as well in order to get those opportunities. But even then, I'm not saying, like I said, to leave your role. Even if you are within your role, building your personal brand will ensure you that you're the first person they decide to choose for those promotions and for those pay rises and for those new opportunities, because they can see through you having a profile, you are able to attract more people back into the company. So automatically that makes you someone that is worth hearing about. That makes you someone that's worth keeping, right? Because you built yourself up bigger than the company, bigger than your team, because you intentionally decided that you wanted to showcase yourself and really push yourself forward to really showcase who you are outside the workplace. And not many people do that. And I don't know whether it's because they're scared or they don't know what to talk about, or work is consuming their life every day where they feel that that's their personality. I don't know. But what I do know is that your personal brand and you building and focusing on that is so important and really provides a solution in order for you to escape the glass ceiling. Because like I said, you should know when you're in a position where you're being sold dreams and you're just not in any opportunities to grow past where you're currently at. But with your personal brand, it's effectively a slide door. I look at it like a door where you just slide through the corner and you're able to go through the back stairs and get to the opportunities you want to get to just because you effectively took the time to build and create and develop and nurture your personal brand to the point where people are always interested in what you have to say. People are always keen on what you have to share, and people always want your insights, whether it's online or offline. And when you're in a position where you can do that, you have provided so much job security for yourself, so much leverage for you to get another job if you wanted to. And that makes you so powerful in terms of you knowing and understanding what you will tolerate and what you will not tolerate, right? Because more often than not, we have to deal with the tomfoolery in these places because we have no choice. We have bills to pay, we have children to feed, we have families to feed. We got, there's so many areas where we have to put ourselves last before other people in regards of just the family dynamics and making sure everyone is good. But you have to focus on your personal brand if you really want to break through. And if you are stuck in this position and you're thinking about another way to get through and another way to develop your skills in order to be getting poached or people reaching out to you or being headhunted for opportunities, it all comes down to your personal brand. When I started building my personal brand, I had people reaching out to me for jobs, and I didn't even have to do the particular job applications. Once I built my personal brand, every job I done was based on me just having that relationship with people via LinkedIn and having those conversations and having those interviews just off the back of me just talking on LinkedIn. You know what I mean? There's so many elements to this where you need to really concentrate and focus for the next steps ahead, because I guarantee if you sit there for too long and you don't focus on that personal branding element, not only are you going to suffer from the consequences of what the glass ceiling has done, but then the element of AI, and you need to learn that as well, and you need to upskill on the AI side of things. And if you haven't even done that, the glass ceiling is going to turn into steel. It will turn into a steel ceiling because you won't be able to even get through it. You won't even be able to see. At least with the glass ceiling, you can see what the top is looking like, but you can't get access to it. With the new foundations of it being steel, you won't even be able to look up and even understand what's going on right about now, right? So please, build your personal brand. Understand that that is the best solution for the glass ceiling right now. And the faster you understand that, the faster that you apply those elements and you future-proof yourself with you understanding and utilizing AI, trust me, there will be no stopping you. You'll be able to have the autonomy in your life to be able to make those decisions, knowing that you can do the things that make you become a better person and the key person of influence and the obvious choice that I've been speaking about for many days now. But on that note, if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let me know if the glass ceiling has been affecting you within your job. Let me know if a personal brand has allowed you to rectify a lot of those issues when it comes down to those jobs. And all in all, I wish you all the best, man. Please focus on your personal brand right now. We ain't got much time. But like I say, always, every day is a blessing. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out. Blessings.